such as ebooks, webinars, discovery calls. Entertaining could be giveaways, challenges, or competitions. Useful, free house valuations, £250 referral fee. So these are good hooks and things to test when you are running your Facebook ads. So next slide. So Facebook ads introduction. So there's 3 different campaign types we can choose: awareness, consideration, and conversion. So campaign objectives. So this is very, very important. This is where a lot of people actually go wrong. They might choose brand awareness or reach because they might think, I in fact want to reach the most people. However, Facebook will find people that are not going to take action. So that is why for direct to vendor, we generally choose one of 2: lead generation or conversions. What I've been doing with Harvey was in fact, we started with conversions. So that was in essence taking people from the ad to a landing page. And what we found was that we were getting a lot amount of traffic, but people were just not filling in the form to convert. So what we did was we reverted to a lead generation. So what a lead generation campaign objective is in essence where Facebook will autofill a form for you, so they never leave Facebook at any given time. So this is good for the convenience factor. Facebook already knows the details. They literally click a button and they fill out the form, and then that's that. So what we're finding at the moment is lead generation is working better. So so when you create your campaign, there's 3 different layers, right? So you've got your campaign objective, your ad set, and your advert. So in your ad set, so that obviously the campaign objective is what you can see here. Your ad set is where we'll choose stuff as geographic location, custom audiences, ages, detail targeting, the really juicy part of your campaign. And the advert is where we create the advert, we put the copy, the headline, and we can choose the images or videos that we want to put on there. So as I said, so this is the campaign level, so objective, ad set level here. So for this example, we've got Wolverhampton small business owners. So in this respect, we were selling commercial offices. And as you can see here on the right-hand side, you will see your audience size. Generally, you want this dial to be in the middle. You don't want it to be too broad, but obviously you don't want it too specific. So an audience size for this campaign was 170,000, which what we found was worked really well. So then we stacked some interests, so such as small business owners, Facebook page admins, that kind of thing. And then moving over to here, you can see the advert. So we've got the call to action, a direct call to action. We've got the benefits and the features of the office, and then the call to action right at the end. So that's the kind of principle you want to follow. So moving on to split testing, this is absolutely key, guys, because what a lot of small business owners come to me and say, look, I've run one advert to one audience and it's failed. Chances are it is going to fail. The reason is because you're not split testing. That is absolutely critical. And Harvey will tell you this, we've been split testing a lot of things. We've split tested creatives. We've split tested the campaign objective. We've split tested audiences like hell. So these are some of the things that you can test. So audiences, placements. So where do we want the advert to be seen? Is it on the news feed? Is it in the stories? Is it in the article? The creative, so images, videos, testimonial, what is going to stop them from scrolling? And also arguably one of the most important things is the copy. How are we going to they need to read that. We need to sell what it is that we're offering in the writing, in the short 10, 15 seconds that they are reading that advert. So the copy is very important. How are we going to grab their attention? And it needs to be, stop them from scrolling. So just a couple of things to remember. So split testing, you don't want to be split testing on less than £5 a day. At the moment, I'm actually saying £7 a day is what we're split testing on, simply because if you're split testing on £1 or £2, you're not really going to have enough data to be able to say, okay, so this is working, this audience is working, however, this is not working. So a lot of the times, if you are split testing on a couple of quid, you can spend as little as £1 really, but in what we found in the industry that's really just not effective. So £5, if not £7 minimum testing, and you want to keep testing for at least 3 days. This just gives enough time for you to see what is working, what's not, and let the algorithm do its thing. But make sure you have the same budget for each test, because obviously it's not going to be a fair test. So let's say, for example, we've got £21 to spend. That would mean we're split testing on £7 per ad set. So in essence, £7 per audience. And then we can see after 3-4 days, this audience is working best. This one isn't working too well. We can kill that one off and then scale up the one that is working, for example. So I've just done an example of some good ads and some bad ads. So on the right-hand side is a bad ad, and I'm going to explain to you why it's good and what's bad. So we can see we've got an attention-grabbing title here. There is nothing really here, so we're directly calling out to business owners. We talk about some of the features, so the fact that it's in a good location, it's there's 24-hour access. These are the postcodes, and then we've got a wonderful call to action at the end, which is book your viewing today. And this is your headline. So most people think this is the headline. So when you're creating a Facebook ad, this is your headline. So this is your last chance to, in essence, explain to them what it is you want them to do next. So we've got the book now button, call to action, and that's where we're going to take them from there. And then with this one here, we can see we've got the display URL, which is obviously we've just been lazy. We've got no headline, which obviously again is lazy, and there's no call to action button, which we found that having the call to action button is critical for telling them to what to do next. So I hope that makes sense, guys. So retargeting. So the good thing about running a conversions campaign is if we, let's say, for example, we had a landing page and it said, okay, so we buy properties in the Northeast. This is what we do. This is what we offer. What we can do is we can retarget these people based on what actions they've taken on the website. So what buttons they've clicked or when they went onto our website. So we can create something called a custom audience, which I can go into more depth at a later date. But what in essence a custom audience is we can say we can retarget people based on, let's say, they visit the website in the past 30 days, they visited certain pages, or they watched a certain amount of video. So let's say we had a video of Harvey saying, "Hi, my name's Harvey. I buy properties in this area. This is what we do. This is how you can get in touch." What we could do is once we've run that video, we could retarget people based on, let's say they've watched 90% of that video. So anyone that watches 90% of that video, to me, says that they are kind of, they are fairly interested in what it is that we've got to do. So that's why we can set up something called a custom audience and we can retarget later down the line. That's also very important. So the Facebook pixel. So the Facebook pixel is a simple piece of code that goes into the header of your site. And what this does, it allows us to track what people are doing, when they're doing it, and what actions they're taking. So we can set up something called custom conversion. So this allows us to create web rules for our website URL. So we can track how many visitors viewed our specific landing page. And then, as I said, what we can do is we can create a custom audience around them and say, look, we could create a retargeting advert and say, look, hey guys, we saw that you visit our website. Are you still interested in selling your house with us? Click on the button below, to get the process going, kind of thing. So that's what the Facebook pixel allows us to do. It allows us to gather that data, which we've set up on Harvey's website. So scaling our way to success. So what we've done, let's say, for example, we're spending £20 a day. We found one ad set is working the best. How do you want to scale it? Generally, guys, because if we are geotarget in a goldmine area, these scaling strategies may not be as appropriate for us because we're not really going to be dealing with audience sizes of 1 to 5 million. We're generally going to be in a couple of 100,000. So what we would do is generally we'll direct scale. So we will, it's a slower way to scale, but it means what we do is we would scale 20% every 3 days. So what a lot of people think is that if let's say they've got a winning advert at £5 a day, if they stake, another £15 on that, it's going to 15x their results. And that's not the case. What that will do is, in fact, it'll hinder the performance of your ad because it will off-throw the algorithm. So what you need to do is scale it slowly, 20% over 3 days. So don't just stick, another extra 10, 20 quid on and thinking that will, boost results like that. Or what we can do is we can duplicate that. If you want to scale faster, we could duplicate the ad set that's winning. So let's say, government debt, mortgage debt, and, people interested in property investing, let's say that's our winning audience. What we could do is we could duplicate that audience and then we can put, for example, 20, 30 pounds on. So there are a couple of ways that we can scale, the winning ad sets. So just some copywriting tips, guys. So we follow an ABC principle at my agency. So attention, how are we going to stop them from scrolling? What's the controversial headline? Are we going to do a direct call to action? A direct call out. So for example, attention homeowners in Leicester, for example. Then we talk about the benefits. What are they going to gain from working with us? Is it going to be a quick sale? Is it a cash incentive? Is it a free valuation? Is it that we're going to pay their legal fees or estate agency fees? Why should they stop and why should they work with us as opposed to an estate agent, for example? And then call to action. What do we want them to do next? Have we added scarcity? How are we going to get people to act now? What are the next steps? Is it to book a discovery call? Is it to download our free lead magnet? Is it to get a call with Harvey? Is it a call? Is it to go over to the landing page and fill out a form? We need to establish that in the copy. So yeah, follow that principle, guys, and you will not go far wrong. This is making sense for everyone so far. I hope it is. Fantastic. So targeting our customers. So yeah, as you know, Facebook targeting is crazy. What they know about us is scary. And, they know who our ex-girlfriends are. They know who we stalk. They know a lot of very intimate information. They have this, avatar of us and what we like and what we're interested in. So this, as business owners and as advertisers, we can use this advantage, and we can really get focused into who we're showing our ads to. So for example, we can target life events. So we could target people in a relationship, people are recently divorced, people that have their relationship status as it's complicated. So if it's complicated, what does that show to us? That they may be going through a rough time in the relationship, that they might be going through a divorce, or might be starting a divorce. So we can say, we can put our ads in front of them people and tailor our copy and say, look, break down in personal circumstances, looking to sell your house fast, get in touch now. So we can put our adverts in front of that. Nurture campaigns versus, going in straight cold. So we can build up that know, like, and trust through providing some sort of value. So I know with when we started our campaigns, Harvey, we ran a lead magnet. And what we found was, yes, it's to some respect it worked, but what we found in the campaigns we run at the moment is that the cold approach is definitely working a lot further if we compare the statistics on that. So I think we provided it was 7 tips on how to sell your home during uncertain times. We did that, and to me it sounded well, but obviously to the audience, it didn't really grab them and get them over that line, you see. But that's also all part of testing. You're not going to know what's going to work until you try it, until you do it. So lookalike audiences, pixel permitting. So these are also very, very, very powerful as well, but you need an email list for this. So let's say we've got 100 leads is the minimum, really. So we've got 100 leads. What we could do is we could upload that to Facebook, and don't ask me how or why, but Facebook will find people very, very similar to that. So all we have to do is upload this in a CSV file, and we can create an audience around this, and Facebook will go find people very similar to this. So that's also very, very powerful. So layer targeting, so we can exclude and include people. So for example, we could do an ad set for people between the ages of 30 to 50 who are interested in inheritance, divorce, house hunting, debt. But they must also be interested in Rightmove. So we can layer it. So we can do must, or we can exclude, or for example, exclude people that are interested in Zoopla, for example. So that's also very, very important when we can layer as well when we do that. So ensure the dial is between narrow and broad. Obviously, you don't want it too broad. You don't want it too narrow, because if not, we're not going to have enough people to go across. I'm not going to explain these strategies because these are quite in depth, but there's a couple of strategies we can do. We can do a space laser strategy, a carpet bomb strategy. But obviously, because if you guys are listening, you are deal sources, you're generally going to have a gold mine area. So you can target postcodes and towns and streets. But I'm not going to go through that right now. These are just some testimonials. So what I'm going to do now, guys, is I don't know if you've got any questions or not, Harvey.
No, loads of thumbs up. There's no questions at the moment, but I've got a few questions. I've been making notes. The guys who's watching this, I really encourage you to take some notes down with this. I've been making lots of notes, and I've got a few little questions to jump in with this. So, and a few little observations. What I noticed in there. One thing that you said, and I hear this all the time. Listen to this, guys. This is probably one of the most profound things. Joe said it in a slightly different way to how I usually would say and how I've learned it, but the meaning is exactly the same. The person that can spend the most on ads to acquire a customer or a lead, whether that is a direct to vendor or a customer in your business, wins. Whoever can spend the most will win. So basically, if you can spend £1 million a day and you're getting enough leads off the back of that, whoever can spend the most will win. And you get enough leads off the back of that doubles up your money to 2 million, 3 million. That means you win. But one of the important things that Joe said about is obviously it's not straightforward as that ad's working, we'll 10x it or 15x it. It's getting that strategy in. And again, this is the importance of understanding it correctly. Myself, I openly admit I would have probably just gone, that ad's working, let's crank that up to £100 a day, and wouldn't have done these things, So yeah, that I'm going to repeat again. The person that can spend the most wins. So the way you can spend the most is by testing it. As Joe talked about in here, like there's so many different layers of testing, like the age demographics, the different styles, the ebooks versus the direct response. There's so many different tests out there. So the way you can be able to spend the most money is by keeping testing, and then finding that point of that ad that you can crank up gradually to that point of, but it will be, every ad has a saturation point as well. So you're going to know where to test that to and get to that point where it's like, okay, that's no longer working, because it's not always about just double it up. And what most users are on here for is a direct to vendor campaigns. So there will definitely be a ceiling point on them a lot quicker than most, because your gold mine locations are a lot smaller. But Yeah, loads of bits of nuggets in there. I took loads of notes, couple of little questions. One of the things I will say though, leaflets versus Facebook campaigns. I was saying about having multiple choices of getting your deals. So agents is definitely always going to stay a top one for me. Last year has been tough with agents, but that's going to come back at one point. They'll go back to some sort of level of normality. I've tried out leaflets. I've done direct to vendor letters, but not on scale. Leaflets I didn't like, and for this reason, guys, the reason I didn't like it is because you heard Joe talk about targeting people that like in relationships, potentially splitting up in relationships. Like there's so much targeting you can do with the leaflets. For me, you typically put out 10,000 leaflets, and you might get one deal off of 10,000 leaflets. But you put out 10,000 leaflets, I guaranteed a good 95% of them will land on doorsteps of people that are not interested in selling their house. So you're not targeting them. Secondly, at that 5%, this is not exact statistic, guys, but it's just a generalization of this principle. At that 5% that does land on their lap that do want to sell the house, how many people, and put it in the comments, how many of you pick up your leaflets and look through them? Do you, Joe? I put mine straight in my recycling bin. I don't look through them anymore.
Yeah, straight in the bin. Yeah.
So exactly that. So even if you did land on the doorstep of somebody who did want to sell their house, the likelihood of them looking for that leaflet again reduces it down. So you're really narrowing it down. So you've got to constantly put out there, and that's then you then not. That's not to talk about the battles you're battling with the people going to deliver them, the little kids that will go, yeah, I deliver them, and throw them in the pond and just take their wages. You know, you don't even know. There's no way of measuring whose doorstep they land on, how the responses are. As Joe said, look, when you look at a video, we can see somebody watched 90% of our videos. It shows you they're quite warm. We can't post that leaflet and see if they read 90% of that leaflet and thinking, yeah, and then retarget them again, rather than retarget everybody and waste money like that. This is the power. This is why I'm going down the Facebook ads route. But as you see, there's so much information to this. I'm getting a generalized understanding. But even with this generalized understanding, even with sitting with Joe multiple times, doing an online training with this, reading loads, doing loads of YouTube, this tells you the difference between YouTube and having your hand held correctly. I still wouldn't be confident to set up one of these campaigns, you know. So yeah, definitely sticking with that side of it. But one quick question, Joe.
Sure.
I love that ABC as well analogy. I usually say hook, story, call to action. But yeah, I love that ABC. It's really, really good analogy. But what is important? Where do you see the importance of that hook? You know, like that. What do you call it? Attention, wasn't it? Where, like, why is that so important?
Yeah, because ultimately we want to disqualify or qualify straight away. There's no point them, you know, filling out the form, reading the rest of the copy if they're not a homeowner, if they're not looking to sell. So that's why we say stuff like, are you for example, if we're doing a landlord campaign, we would do, are you a landlord looking to sell your portfolio, with a question mark, with, let's say, a house emoji, for example. So directly straight away, if they're not a landlord and they're not looking to sell, they're going to scroll past. But that's good for us because we're not in this advert, we're not interested in it if you're not selling your house, for example. And another example is, do you own a property, for example, in Leeds, and are you looking to sell? So this could be more of a generalized ad set that we're going for. So if they're not in Leeds and they're not looking to sell, then they're not interested. We're not interested either. We don't want them to, you know, to carry on reading or to fill out a form to waste our time. We really want people that are in Leeds that are looking to sell. So that's why it's important to have a direct call out, you know, attention grabbing, you know, disqualifying, qualifying straight away, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that attention grabbing key, what you've said there as well. I think the statistics are we get 4,000 adverts go past our face per day on average now. With social media, TV, we're getting bombarded with 4,000 adverts, and as a result, you really need to grab that attention. Otherwise, you're just going to get lost into the barrage of adverts, content. Adverts look so much like content today as well. So if you're scrolling through, quite often it just looks like more content. So we really need that hook, that curiosity hook as well. Something that's going to give them some level of curiosity. Quick little question here as well. As I said to guys, check out the interview with Jamie York as well. He's prolific at the direct to vendor stuff I've done the other day in this group. But I asked him about this new iOS 14, and he said he's not too worried about it. He was saying, firstly, how did he word it? He said, firstly, it's going to put off a lot of other people coming into the space because you're going to have to maybe up your game a little bit as your quality of how you market it towards people. And I can't remember the second reason he put to it. think it was something along the lines of, oh, did I fire this back to you? I can't remember. But either way, when people get the option to opt out of the ads, they're still not going to get no ads. They're just going to get any ads, you know? So I believe, I can't remember if Jamie said this on me. I think I said it though, to be fair. I believe people might opt back in at one point because I love targeted ads. I don't want to see lipstick and dog food. I've not got a dog, you know? Like, what do I want to see about dog food in my ads? I want to see stuff I'm interested in. And in the ads I see, I'll buy stuff from. I often go, oh, wow, like I like that. And I buy it. Like the Facebook marketing ad, online course that I've done was from an ad I saw, you know? Like, so if I hadn't seen that ad and I was just seeing dog food or lipstick or stuff like this, and yeah, I think the targeting is good. It is kind of scary, and they only target you with the information you put on. I believe Facebook holds about 50 data points of information on each person on average. But
yeah, they know.
Yeah, what's your views around this iOS 14 coming in and the restrictions?
Yeah, I mean, I've been speaking to a couple of guys in the industry, and I think the e-commerce guys are more worried than obviously us. Generally, we're more lead generation than on Facebook. Obviously, with the retargeting, it's going to be more difficult for the e-commerce guys, you know, who've got more sophisticated campaigns than us. You know, generally we'll be targeting, you know, website or video views, for example. So I'm not particular. I was a little bit worried, but I think now when you say, you know, they are going to get ads as well, you know, even if they're not targeted, they are going to opt in back on ads that are relevant to them. So I'm not really too worried, I think. And, you know, Facebook will adapt. You know, Facebook has adapted. It will adapt because ultimately they can't lose as advertising. If we're not getting the results, then obviously we're not going to spend as much money. So personally, I'm not too worried. You know, obviously we've been running campaigns, you know, for this year, and we're still getting good results, still getting good amount of leads through. So as far as I'm concerned, from a lead generation perspective, I'm not so worried as compared to some of my colleagues who do more sophisticated e-commerce ads. Yeah.
Okay,
so
excellent.
Perspective, not too worried now.
Excellent, good news. Good news. But yeah, it's always still going to be a way, isn't there? But yeah, a couple of notes. Let's go over these notes. But yeah, the importance of the call to action, split testing. Guys, really got to think about these things. These are notes I'm writing down at the moment. The retargeting, the ebook. I must admit, when I spoke to Jamie York, he did say, look, the ebook one is good, but it takes longer to get leads. He said, you're going to get much more warm and quicker leads by the direct response, but the ebook will be that lurker in the background that's interested. And again, that's the ebook's where the power of the retargeting comes, but the cost per lead is going to be more expensive. But when they come through, the lead's going to be definitely much more warm because you built that know, like, and trustability from him. But yeah. Really interesting stuff. So, Joe, I'm going to pass it back over to you, mate, and let you get on with your next part of this. Are you going to show us a quick little ad setup?
Sure. So, as I said in the screenshot, guys, these are the 3 types of campaign objects that we could choose. For the example of this for today, I'm going to do, this is generally how, another tip I'm going to give you is naming your campaigns, you know, clearly. So I'm going to do, this is what I always do. So I always do lead gen. So I do the campaign objective, and then I'm going to do, so it's direct to vendor. And for example, let's say the gold mine area is, you know, for this example, I'm going to use where I'm from, which is Leeds. So ad set. So again, this is what I do, lead gen. And then let's say we're going to do landlords. We're going to do landlord ad set. So we're going to target portfolios. And then I always do, again, I do lead gen, and then I do, I'm going to do an image for this advert. So this is how we're going to do it, guys. So as I said, so this is campaign level, ad set level, ad level. So I'm going to just quickly duplicate these just for the example of this. I'm going to show you, this is based on a £21 per day spend. So I know I said to you guys, you know, £5, but I'm going to do £7 on this. I'm not going to go too technical because it's just a quick example. But on a later day, if you want, I can talk about CBO and why that's important. But for this example, I'm going to keep it simple. We're going to do a budget of £7 per ad set, as I said to you guys before. Very important. So here we go, £7 again. So he always does this sometimes. So yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't want to do it too expensive because I know some people might be starting on a limited budget. So this is how you can get started for 20 quid a day, for example. Right. So guys, so we can see here, I'm just going to change this. So we're going to stack some interest here. And then we're going to name this, we're going to keep this one slightly broad ad set. Okay, guys. So I'm going to walk you through here. So this is ad set level. So this is where we can choose the budget. This is where we see how broad our audience is. And this is where this is the real juicy bit here. So for direct to vendor, I'm going to choose, obviously my gold mine area of leads. So this is also very important. So you can target people live in the location, people who are recently in the location, or people who are traveling this location but live more than 125 miles away. But because we're targeting homeowners in this area, I don't want people that are just passing through Leeds. I want people actually living in Leeds. So that is why I'm going to choose people living in this location. So I'm going to choose Leeds city centre, Leeds here, and let's do a radius of let's say 17 kilometers. Yeah, we'll stick that with for now. So we've got the geographic. Obviously, we can do postcodes. So we could do, for example, LS. Look, these are all the possibilities. So if you do know your postcodes, put them in there. So let's say we'll do LS1. No, that's quite a small audience. You don't want to just be doing that. But you can add that in as well. So we'll just do Leeds city centre here. And we'll do 17-kilometer radius. So direct to vendor. So you've got to kind of use your brain here. Generally, anyone that's 18, there's no really point showing them our adverts. We tend to do 26 or 27 onwards. I'll do 27 to 65 plus. Keep it quite broad. Genders, generally what I do find is we do actually find women fill out the, I was looking at the statistics, and women are filling out the forms more than men, funnily or not funnily enough. So that's also something to consider if you want to choose, genders. So for this, obviously this is a landlord. So I'm not going to do all the interest, but I'm just going to show you what we can do. So we could target people. This always does this sometimes. Right, so if you just type in the word landlord, you can see people who list landlord as an employer, people who have landlord in their job title, or we can target people interested in landlords. So these guys might not necessarily be a landlord. So for this example, I'm just going to choose the job title as landlord. So these are people who publicly say they are landlords. So obviously we can see this goes down to less than 1,000. So what I'll do is I'll turn on DTE, detailed targeting expansion, and watch this number go back up. So we can see this is an audit.
And the line went back up on the target. If it went like that, then back up again.
Yeah. So because if we were just targeting landlord, like literally just people, like that's a fewer than 1,000 people. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn that back on. We're going to have a couple more interests as well. So we could target people who list themselves as landlords, but they might also be interested in estate agents. So they might be looking, looking for an estate agent to sell their property. So then we can see the audience size still stays at that. And then I'm going to add another one in. So Rightmove. So they might be looking on Rightmove as well. So that's also another interest. And then, for example, they might, let's say they're struggling with debt. So let's look at debt ones. Let's see what debt interest they've got. So look, we can see here, government debt, consumer debt, money as debt. So let's just say money as debt. So what we can see here is, so we've still got a good audience size here. So I could narrow it down further if I wanted to, or I could exclude. I was saying about the layering. So let's say we want to narrow it further. So we want landlords who are interested in this, but let's say they almost also be interested in, buy to let. This will bring the audience size down. I know it will. So that's 180,000. So it's still a good size. So now what we can see is we're going to be targeting landlords who are interested in estate agent, interested in money as debt, interested in Rightmove, but they must also be interested. They must be interested in buy to let. So there on the right hand side here, we can see never pay attention to this. This happens all the time. So we will get leads through it. It just says that it's done. But what we can see is 740 to 2,000 pound. 2,000 daily reach. This is based on £7 per day. So in essence, guys, we can get our adverts in front of 2,000 unique people a day for £7. Think about how much you'll be spending on, leafleting and direct to vendor for that price. If you bring it into that perspective, it really is a no-brainer.
And bring it into perspective as well, Joe. Sorry to jump in there. Bring it into perspective, the targeted people that they are. This is like if you put that into perspective of leafleting and the amount of people that it land on that was landlords, that was into buy to let, that looked at estate agents. If you had some way, which used to be impossible, to know how your leaflets actually got onto them laps of them people, you'd had to spend loads and loads of time, loads of man hours posting leaflets. So yes, that's why I'm so excited about this method.
Exactly, guys. So then placements, and I know I think I watched one of Jamie's training. What I tend to do anyway, what we tend to do over here is, if you've got an Instagram page, then obviously run it on Instagram, but let's say we're just running it on Facebook. How many times will you see an advert in the search or in an article and you won't really click it? Yes, you might get more placements, but generally the one that we find is certainly feeds. You know, when you see it in your feed, that is generally where you're going to take action, not really in stream or in search. So I'd rather Facebook spend more money in places where people are actually going to click on it. So let's say for this example, we're going to do feed and we're going to do stories. We're going to exclude the rest. Obviously, this is all due to testing, so you can. Obviously, Facebook will say recommended because they want it as many places as possible. But for us, we like to keep it manually. But like I said, you can test that and see which placements are working better or not. So now we move over to advert level. So there is obviously no Instagram account linked to this. So it'd be stupid of us to do it on Instagram. So I'm going to turn Instagram off there. So here we go. So this is where we can choose our ad setup. So we can do a single ad, image or video, or we can do a carousel. You may have seen the carousel adverts. But for this example, I created just a quick Canva thing this morning, which I'm going to use. Yeah, I'm not a graphic designer, but I hope this will do. Right. Okay. So I created this morning. So I'm just going to copy and paste in. What I did was I created, here's some creative examples that are some copy examples that we can use. So I'm just going to copy and paste this in, and then you can just see how the advert will look. So another thing, guys, is, as I said, testing is very important. So we might think this sounds amazing. It sounds really good. So we've got the clear call out here. We've got some pain points, endless viewings, not found the right price. We've got explained how are we different, some good things and some bad points. And then we've got, we don't actually have a call to action button there. So let's put, yeah, so click on the button below to find out more. So what this does allows us to do here is we can add different options. So we can add different primary text. So you can add up to 5 in here. So anything that, so for example here, guys, I'm sorry, just move this across. So I've created 2 for the example of for this example. So I've created a shorter one and a longer one. So this goes in here. So we can test up to 5. So it's very important you do this. So Facebook will find, it will put out these primary text here, but it will obviously optimize for the one that's performing better. So we've got a shorter one here, and then we've got a longer one here. So it's very important that you just test different things. Like I said, it's all about testing. So you could do a 2-liner, you could do, you know, something more populated like this with emojis, without emojis. Emojis do work well. They add color, they add a bit of, you know, vibrance to your advert. So I do like to use emojis in my adverts. So then we move over to headline. Again, we can test different headlines. So the headline is what goes here. So we could say, sell your portfolio. And then we could just add in, for example, here. So, you know, we can test. So this is your headline here. So we can test, you know, up to 5 again of these. So we could do guaranteed offer in 48 hours. So just be, you know, just be mindful of this and realize that, you know, you can put in up to 5 and you definitely should do 5. But for this example, I'm just going to do 2. And then your display link. So we would just put www.growthbyanyhouse.co.uk. So that goes there. And then we'll do growth. Another thing, guys, is testing your call to action button. So Facebook will give you an example. So we could do get quote, learn more, sign up, subscribe, apply now, book now, download. So if you've got an ebook, generally you'd want to put obviously download. But what we find is best, and what other guys in the industry say works well, is the learn more call to action. So in all our campaigns at the moment that we're in now, Harvey, we are using the learn more button, which might sound, you know, you know, a bit pernickety, but it does make a difference. So then we can choose a question format. So we can start an automated chat or just do it in an instant form. So I'm not going to really go through this. We don't have time to create in a form. But in essence, for the lead magnet form, we've got a lead magnet form and we've got a vendors form. So I'll just show you here. So we've got sell my house today, your legals paid for, no estate agent's fee, all conversations are strictly confidential. So we've got town of property, we've got full name, number, city, and then privacy policy, and then you know, a link to the website. So that's for the vendors form. And then we've got a lead magnet form, which is much more simple, which is just email, name, and phone number. But again, guys, you can test different things. So if you want better quality leads, you could put in more questions. We could put in when are you looking to sell? You know, what is your situation right now? You know, we can do more pre-qualifying questions if you would want to do so. However, some people say add postcodes in. However, some people might say that's a bit intrusive. People might not want to give you that information, you know, straight away before having that conversation on the phone. So again, you know, this is all about testing. So for us, we just like to keep it pretty simple, to be honest. Don't like to get too intrusive. So that is in essence full campaign. So we've got landlords. You can see, you know, let me just expand this, guys, just so you can see it bigger. So yeah, this is in essence our full advert. So we've got, are you a landlord to sell your portfolio, not in the right place, endless viewings? We help landlords like you sell fast and move on in weeks rather than months. How are we different? Offer within 48 hours. We pay your estate agency fees, no chains, no endless viewings. And then again, your hook can vary. So for example, in this example, we're doing £250 cash for any house that is sold with us. So you as deal sources, obviously, if you can afford to do that, then think of different ways as to how, you know, we can entice them. You know, £250 for if you know someone to sell a house, that's pretty good, is that? That's probably going to get people moving. So yeah, so that's how we would in essence create an advert like that. And then we move over to stacked interests. I'm not really, I mean, how are we doing with time, Harvey? Do you want me to kind of carry on or wrap up?
Yeah, listen, I'm interested in this. So as long as much as you want to give for it, mate, I'm fine.
Okay, brilliant. Well, what I'll do is, yeah, I'll just quickly go through these other two ad sets, just so you guys have got an idea, and then we can just take some questions at the end. So again, as you saw on that advert, our copy is tailored towards landlords. The image that we're using is tailored towards landlords. But for this one, I'm gonna just keep it quite broad, and just show you what I mean by that. So again, we're gonna choose leads. Is there any more questions in there, Harvey?
There is a few questions. We've got one question so far, but we'll leave you to do this, and then we'll get on the question in a minute.
Sure. So again, we're going to choose our kind of age category. We're going to do 27. We're going to do all genders. I'm going to keep this quite broad, so I'm just going to do. Let's see what equity interest there is. Home always does this. So look, so we've got home equity loan, home equity line of credit. So what we can see there, we could do, let's look at debt, some debt ones. So we've got government, let's do consumer debt. Let's do, look how, you know, we can get refinancing, home equity, personal finance, mortgage loans, you know, credit cards, mortgage calculator, for example. Look, people see interested in repossession. Which is, you know, crazy that people are searching about these things. Let's have a look. Inheritance. I just want to show you guys that the possibility of the targeting that we can do is just crazy, absolutely crazy. Let's look at divorce. So look, we can do divorce court, divorce settlement, divorce party. You know, as I said to you before, relationship status. So we can target people with a relationship status as divorced, or as I said to you before, it's complicated. So we can complicated. So it's complicated as an interest. Let's see, as a relationship status. Yeah, so we can target people who have a relationship status as complicated. And what does complicated say to us? That the relationship's not going too well. So that could mean that they're going to start a divorce. You put it into perspective like that. So as we can see here, so in leads, I've turned detailed targeting off again, but if I was to turn that back on, so as we can see now in leads, Facebook sees that we've got, there's 26,000 people who have a relationship status that's complicated. who have interest in consumer debt, home equity line of debt, mortgage calculator, repossession. You know, we could even do it. I'm not going to stack this all in here, but I just want to show you inheritance. Look, we can people interested in inheritance. So we could do a, you know, an advert saying, you know, have you inherited a property? Are you looking to get rid of it fast? Sell for us. So as you can see there, guys, you know, the possibilities of targeting are absolutely endless. There is a lot of things we can get really targeted on, but for this instance, I'm just going to keep it at this. I'll turn detailed targeting expansion on, and we can see an audience size of potentially 590,000. For this advert, I'm just going to keep on a recommended, which is automatic placements, and then we're going to move over to the actual advert itself. So I created something else as well. So also, just another tip which you should write down, guys, is images of the house that in the goldmine area that's a typical house tend to work well. So what I've done was I found a property that's actually for sale in Leeds, and what I've done is another thing that what we've tested before is if you add some sort of red or some sort of color, people are naturally drawn to that, so they will read that. So what I've done here is I put sell your house in West Yorks, and then a photo of a typical property that is being sold in Leeds. So that also does work well. So we can see that before we had, you know, it was obviously geared towards landlords. You know, this is just a typical house that we're going to go for. And then again, these are just some copy examples that we can do. So I'm just going to copy and paste this in. So we write this all beforehand in a Word document, just so, you know, we're clear and we're structured as to what copy we're going to do. So there's a full advert copy for there. And then I'm just going to add in one more here, guys, which is slightly different. But as I say, you know, there's no, this might work better, or this might work better. We don't know that until we test it. And that is why you should really make the most of adding as many text options as possible and as many headlines as possible. So then again, we could do guaranteed, or we'll pay your legal fees. And then we could do offer within 48 hours, or we could do £250 cash referral. So yeah, so I hope that makes sense, guys. I don't know if there's any more questions for now, but yeah, again, we'll just do the learn more button, and then we can just add in the display link, growth buying a house. .co.uk. And another thing, if you stack two, so as I said to you before, testing is key. Most people will just run one advert to one audience and stack a lot of interest. But as you can see here, we have clearly defined parameters. So we've layered in this one with the landlords. We're going to stack interests. And for this one, we could just keep it broad with one or two interests. We would run these for a couple of days at the same budget, as I said to you before. And then we can see if we get any leads through. You know, obviously one's performing better than the other. We can look at stuff like click-through rates, CPMs, which is your cost per 1,000 impression. And guys, what an impression is how many times people see the same advert. So generally a good CPM is £10 or under. So I can talk to you about that later. So then again, we choose the form. And then, you know, we can see we've got this advert. We're not targeting landlords on this. You know, this is going for people who are interested in obviously in the ones that we chose. So we can see it's a slightly different advert, but we are differentiating. We're not trying to target landlords and, you know, Vicky that's in a very poor situation that needs to get rid of a home fast in the same advert with the same copy. Because if not, that's obviously going to dilute, you know, our message. So it's important to keep it separate. And then finally, guys, I'll just whiz through this quickly again. So we've got £7 per day budget. We're going to do leads as we've done in the previous ones. Age category, let's say, you know, we might want to go a bit older. We might want to do, you know, 32 to 55. You know, again, this is all with testing. So I'm going to keep this fairly broad. I'm just going to do, we could do, what could we do? We could do Rightmove. We could do house hunting this time. So people interested in house hunting. We could do homeowners. homeowner. We could do, let's see if we can do terrace property. Look, we can do an interest in terraced house, believe it or not. So yeah, I'm going to keep it broad at that. So let's have a look here. So we can see we've got an audience size of 190,000 with a potential reach of very similar again, 760 to 2,200. And then I can, well, for this one, I'm going to turn detailed target expansion off because we've got a decent audience size with that. What that is in essence, Facebook will find people who are not necessarily with these interests, but it could also improve the performance. So again, you can test that on or off. And then I'm going to do manual placements again. We're just going to do Facebook, and we're just going to choose the main ones that which you find, which are feed and stories, primarily feed, to be honest. Yeah. So again, guys, let's see, let's have a look here. Yeah, I'll just copy. I've not written any more copy for this, but again, very, very similar. We can do that as well. Sure. Okay. And then again, headlines, we can test different headlines. So what else could we do? We could do sell within 4 weeks. We could do, what else could we do? Get an offer today, if you can actually make an offer today.
Yeah, it's a good point. You've got to be very careful about honoring what you can say you can do.
Yeah, if you can genuinely make an offer today, then yeah, put that. If you can't, then don't, obviously. But yeah, again, we could do guaranteed sale in 6 weeks. You know, you guys just have a think as to what you can offer. Or, again, we could do cash buyers only. So we will buy your house in cash. If you've got the capability. And then we can do, again, we can choose the form. So we're going to do vendors form. We're going to do instant, and then we're going to choose the learn more button. But again, you can test this, not an issue. And then finally, guys, is just the, another thing to test, guys, is videos. Video ads work well. So you can just go on somewhere like Fiverr. You could, you could just do some animated videos. You can do, you could literally do, Harvey could have it on his iPhone and say, hi, my name's Harvey. I buy properties in Leeds. Ooh, my laptop's going to die in a sec. I'll go get a charger. My name's Harvey. I buy houses in Leeds. This is what you can do. This is how you can get in touch. This is how you can buy a property with me. That can just be shot off an iPhone. And that probably would actually work well in terms of, people will probably watch that because, it's not slick. It's not professional. It's just Harvey saying this is what it does. So I think we could test that, Harvey, probably next month, actually.
Yeah.
Doing that. Again, though, obviously we are targeting.
What about that video you created, Joe? Do you mind putting that in the comments, like a link to that video you created?
Sure, yeah.
Another one, if you put it in the comments so people can see the style ones you create as well.
Yeah, not a problem. I'll do that at the end, yeah, for sure. Just get my laptop on charge. Right, brilliant. So again, videos, and that obviously with a video, we could create, like I said to you before, a custom audience. So anyone that's watched 90%, 75% of the video, we could retarget them and say, hi, still interested in selling your house with us. Get in touch today. This is how to get going. So I'm just going to change the media on here again. Again, just for the purpose of this, I mean, here's some of the creatives that we've used. So these three are what we created for the lead magnet, which we did, which was something like 7 reasons to sell your house in uncertain times. This is another creative that we did for Harvey. So looking to sell your house in Teesside, Darlington, Middlesbrough, Stockton on Tees, because I know that is your gold mine area, Harvey. But for the case of this, I'm just going to do again a typical house in Leeds with this kind of red, which we found actually works better as opposed to just leaving it like that. Have some sort of text on your image. And there we go, guys. That's pretty much it. And then, that's pretty much the form. You can send them a link to your website or to get them to call now. And then another thing, guys, if you want to see your ad as to how it looks in real time, what you'll do is click over here and you'll get notification to your Facebook page, to your Facebook account, and then you can see how the advert looks like that. But yeah, guys, that's in essence how to create, a direct to vendor campaign. We've got some good testing going on. Ideally, if I had more time and obviously more budget, then what we do is we would create different adverts within each of the ad sets. So we've got one advert to one ad set at the moment here, but ideally we want to be running 3 different adverts to each ad set. So I don't know if that gets confusing, but as I say, it's all about testing. What I might think works might not be what the market, you know, wants and is receptive to. So just because I think it looks good doesn't necessarily mean it's going to get results. So yeah, that's pretty basic. Obviously you can do a lot more with the test, with the targeting. You know, just spend some time thinking, what are some of the key things that my customers, that these direct to vendor deals, you know, what are they going to be going through? Is it divorce? Is it inheritance? What kind of things are they going to be searching? I actually, in fact, someone else told me that they'd put interests such as Poundland, an X Factor on there, and that, I think that worked pretty well for them. So again, you know, the capabilities are endless, really. So yeah, that's just in essence just a brief example as to what you can do. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, massively. That was really comprehensive. Thank you for that, Joe. Again, my audience, hope you found the value in that. That is absolute gold. Loads of nuggets of value in there. So we've got a couple of questions here, which we'll go into as well. I have more notes. I've been making loads of notes. I'm just trying to read through all my notes. Our notes here. I must have think one thing, we discussed this at the start, and I asked Jamie this, saying, should it be a company? Should it be in your own name? I remember we thought about, should we run it from a platform like a Facebook page I've already got? So just to be clear, you guys, you need a Facebook business page to run ads. You can't run it from your personal Facebook page. But I am toying with a point of we're running it from Growth Buyers in your house because I'm Growth Properties. I'm going to set up a little test of Harvey Buys Any House as well, you know, just against that personal sort of persona. It goes both ways. But if you've not learned anything today, it is all about that testing. You've really got to test. And often, one thing Joe said, what you think works often isn't the thing that actually works. That's why you've got to keep on testing it, and find that thing that works. And then when you find the thing that works, it might work for 6 months, and then you've got to retest again to get that same sort of level of volume. You'll get fatigue from that, and you've got to rechange. So yeah, really powerful. Couple of questions in here, Joe. There's only a few. I'm quite shocked, guys. Look, Joe's going to be on here for a few more minutes, so really take the opportunity to ask some questions. I've got access to Joe. I obviously pay Joe and his agency to work with them, so I've got access to him to ask him questions all the time. It comes as a bonus. But why you've got him here for free, guys, I really would encourage you to ask some more questions if you want. But if you don't want, it's no big deal. We'll keep this little nuggets to ourselves, and we'll add what is it called? The first movers. Well, we ain't the first movers, but we'll have a movers advantage. But as Lan has said, how do you make good copy? Do you use websites or yourself? I'm not sure what he means by do you use websites to create that, or do you create it yourself?
So within the agency, me and my head of my media buyer, so the guy that runs my ads, I'll generally do the copy. I enjoyed English. I got quite a good grade in English, so all the copy that's there is from me. However, you can pay copywriters, you know, stuff like Fiverr for very cheap. Or if you work with an agency, obviously they'll do it. So yeah, personally, I do it because I enjoy writing. You know, the copy that I've written, it kind of follows the principle ABC, attention, benefit, call to action, however you want to name it, different acronyms. But yeah, if you follow that kind of simple process, you know, you won't go far wrong.
Yeah, for sure. And again, different acronyms. I usually say hook, value, sell, or hook, story, sell. In this one, it's definitely value because you're not so much a story. When you're doing normal content, you want to think about your headline hook. You then want to add some value in the middle, which is your benefits. It's the same
Yeah,
thing.
Exactly.
And then your call to action. But yeah, really important. But yeah, study it. Study marketing, guys. Marketing is the key to every single business. If you don't understand marketing and you're only just getting like organic leads or you're just getting referral leads, that's great, but it's not a scalable business, you know. And also, you never know when that organic leads will dry up. In today's world, everything's going tech. I feel I don't feel definitely without a shadow of a doubt, the most powerful form of marketing is via online digital marketing. It's a game changer. We couldn't get in front of audiences like this before unless you had big budget. It's like for TV adverts. This is unreal. You can see the money that TVs and everybody's putting into this now. So mastering this will this will transform your business more than anything else. And these are adaptable skills that Joe showed you. You don't have to just do it direct to vendor. These are adaptable skills for all your businesses. The principles behind what he's saying, the attention, benefit, call to action, all these principles he's shown you are the same. Targeting, it's all the same, and just depending on where your audience are and what you're doing. Nappa's jumped on and asked, are you able to share a document? Nappa, I've got some copy documents in the 6-week RBRR course. So where you've been on the training and you've done the coaching with me, I'll give you some of them over. I'll send some of them over to you. I'm not. So yeah, we'll give you some of those because you've been through the training. No more questions, which is surprising. I think you give so much value out there. I thought I'd have more questions, if I'm totally honest, but you showed so much. So I really thank you, Joe, for being so transparent, showing everything. But again, guys, if you're anything like me, even seeing that again, I have got no desire now to go off and actually and put that into action. To be fair, I'm happy to outsource that. You can see the level of detail and the time and effort that goes into doing this. And Joe did mention Fiverr. You can go on Fiverr, you could go on Upwork, you can go on onlinejobs.ph. But things like copy, I wouldn't outsource to Fiverr. Definitely not. You don't want somebody abroad doing that. You want somebody on the ground at home and a specialist in them areas. So there's no point getting a copywriter. I got a copywriter last year and she was fantastic, but she never had no experience in property. So you need somebody who's got an understanding in that industry. Joe is in this industry. I'm not trying to oversell Joe, but yeah, you want to make sure you get somebody who's a specialist in the area if you're going to get copy. If you're going to get copywriters, I wouldn't go on Fiverr. I've tried copywriters on Fiverr in the past and they're not that good. One of the copywriters before this will make you laugh on Fiverr just used they done a bit of copyright, so I'll give them a broad understanding of what I wanted. On Fiverr, I thought, yeah, find a copywriter for a Fiverr or for a tenner. They said, what do you want? So you have to give them something of what you want. So I pretty much written the copy anyway. Now you come back with this copy in a form where it's going to like give you your hook, story, sell. Give it to them. They just put it into a software called Rev and give it back to me. And I was like, I could have done that for £1.25 myself. That wasn't really copywriting, but yeah, hey ho. But Joe, how do people get in contact with you? How do people get in contact with you? They do want to work with you. They want to explore that any further. What's the best methods for them to contact you?
Yeah, probably best ways. I'm part of the remote Facebook groups. I kind of post value in there. So find me on Facebook, just Joe Taylor, or you can visit my website, which is www.egrowthmedia.co.uk. But yeah, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, just Joe Taylor, and I'll keep posting value into the group anyway, so you'll see me from there. And I will post some links to some of the videos and stuff that we've done previously.
So yeah, do you want to stick a link as well? Just do that previous, stick a link into your website. There's no outside. By the way, guys, this is on permission. Joe gives me loads of value. We work together, so not everybody can just be pumping in their links and everything. But yeah, Joe, if you stick a link in the comments of your website as well. How does it work as well? Do you work on a retainer, like things, a monthly basis? I know how this works, but just for the audience who work with you.
So we do offer by the hour consultations, but generally is if you want the done for you service, we do work on a retainer basis. So yeah, we can explore either or. To be honest, not.
And that's a monthly just payment scheme, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just a monthly payment. Yeah, minimum of a 3-month commitment, and then rolling after that. So yeah. So that's kind of how we do it, really. So yeah, we work we've sold commercial officers, we've done SA bookings, we've done obviously direct to vendor. So and I'm also in property myself, just in the process of completing on my first deal, actually, Harvey.
Well done, mate. Well done.
Yeah, first little buy to let, actually. So yeah, so I know the industry well, and that's why I can market to this.
And we've got one more question through Simi. Simi's been through the coaching as well, but she said, how do we get hold of Joe and your company later?
Just about to put in a link now.
Yeah, Joe's got the link in, Simi, but that was loads of value, guys. Don't think you might underestimate the amount of value. If you master this is going to master your businesses massively, not just a direct to vendor. And Joe just give you a tutorial. So yeah, really, really value. So thank you so much, Joe, for sharing your skills and your knowledge. I learned more again, even though I keep on learning about this. I learned more on this today. So this is a really, really good. Got loads of notes. I hope everybody's been sitting there scribbling loads of notes. I've been actively scribbling away loads of notes. Let's get them some more of these new tests out. I like the idea of testing a few more of these videos.
And that's,
yeah, guys,
like in complete transparency, you know, as we were saying about the results before, you know, we were just exploring, you know, obviously we started off a couple months ago. We're probably getting a lead every 4 days, so that the results were not stellar. We were just trying to find some audiences. Obviously, we, you know, trying to establish the Glenmore area. But now, fast forward a couple of months, and now we're getting just shy of a lead every other day, coming at around 18-19 pound per lead. Obviously, want to try to bring that down, but
well, that's fluctuated though, isn't it, Joe? Because about 2 weeks ago, that's about £12 a lead at the same sort of one, and this week it's around £18. So it's fluctuating between £12 and £18, I guess.
Yeah, generally 12 to 18 pound. Anything, you know, anything 20 pound or under is good. Yeah, it was 12 pound before, so that kind of saying to me right now we need to look at exploring different creatives. As you said before, there is an ad fatigue. You know, people will see this the same out, and because it is in a goldmine area, you know, if we were going nationwide, you know, you'd have there'd be more leeway. But because we are targeting a specific amount of people in this area, that says to me now we need to be looking at different creators and different hooks. Because, you know, the £250 referral fee, they're not in any of our ads at the moment, but, you know, we can look to put that into next month, for example, and you know, just to vary it about a bit. So.
And that come with the retargeting as well, wouldn't it? So we'd retarget the people that's been into our ads as well, but with a slightly tweaked
interactive with the page. Exactly that. Yeah. So, you know, we can look at that 100%. So
yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because important metrics. So on there, we're getting roughly, did you say lead a day we're roughly getting? So lower days, how many leads?
30 days we've had, first past 30 days we've had 27 leads through our adverts. Yeah. So just under a lead a day.
And literally about a week and a half ago, I was at £12. It's just crept up to £18, but still phenomenal. Anything under £20 per lead. On Jamie's thing, he said, look, I would pay £100 per lead if you knew they was really, really hot leads, you know? And I said, you probably pay that by the time you average out the good leads from the bad leads. So yeah, really starting to get that momentum. Really excited about this. We'll keep you posted as we gain more momentum. But remember that, exactly what Joe said, it took a bit of testing and try and error. We've been doing this for a few months. Don't give up on these things. Keep going with it. Trial, test. Even when you know what you're doing, you still got to try and test. This is where so many people get discouraged in anything. They'll bring out a training program, ask people to buy it, and nobody buys, or they try and buy a house and it goes wrong on that first deal, and they say, oh, that don't work. I'm listening to Think and Grow Rich again. Like this week, I had a little bit of a dip in my energy. I was like, what should I do? Right, let's listen to Think and Grow Rich again in the mornings. They said that consistency and that internal belief are two really key factors in that book. Staying consistent. There's loads of mistakes, not mistakes, there's loads of tests along the way. And you can retrain your mind around to this is testing, not mistakes. It's not going wrong. This is just a testing. This is R&D, research and development. And if you mark that down as R&D, research and development in your head, you'll really get an understanding. Like you really shift your mindset, because you get disheartened. You run out of campaign and you think, oh, I thought Facebook was kidding. I've spent £100 on ads and I've not got a lead yet. But imagine if you spend £100, £500, £1,000, and you get one lead that gives you a property which got £30,000 in it, then yeah, you've got to look at what you've got, but also what you've got in the meantime from all the testing you've done and the data you've collected, which is very important. Really, really pays for itself. So really be patient with these test, and yeah, get going.
Another thing, Harvey, is that you know, you might be spending a couple of £100, but you know, for example, if you're a deal sourcer as well, you know, or if you are an investor, the big value that it's got is, you know, £20 a lead, you know, in the grand scheme of things is, you know, it's pretty. Obviously, they need to be good leads. But if you put it into the grand scheme of things, it's not much really.
No, it's nothing. Again, yeah, if you can get an house with lots of equity in it, or if you're a deal sourcer and you can package that on and sell that for £5,000, then yeah, in the grand scheme, it's not much at all. Joe, thanks for your time today. Thanks for extending that, and thanks for showing us the detailed, the detailed sort of setup and tutorial there. Guys, this is recorded. You can catch up with this again. So it's in the group. So it's recorded. Check out Joe and what he's doing. Contact him. He's happy to share his details. He's put his website in there already. Just get in contact with him. I'd encourage you to do that. It's been paid dividends for us to do that. So yeah, remember, if you don't evolve your ideas, you're never going to live on your own terms, guys. So evolve your ideas, live on your own terms. Have a great day. Joe, thank you for joining us today.
Cheers, Harvey.
See you later.